Well, my friends, I'm pretty convinced that the feral goat is going to be the next great one here in the Hunter Call of the Wild for various reasons. So I figured before the update comes out, let's come out here to COTW and let's set up a feral goat grind. And let's test out the grind, and while I'm doing it, I might as well teach you guys how, just in case the feral goat is the next great one. So before the great one comes out, you guys will already know exactly what you need to do on release day. I don't know if it is or not. Let me know down below, what do you guys think? Is it going to be the next great one here in the Hunter Call of the Wild? And would you like a feral goat great one? I know I definitely would. I might do this for wild hogs as well. If you guys like these kind of great one guides for great ones that don't even exist yet, please let me know. Maybe I'll make one for European rabbit. But without further ado, guys, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Squid. Definitely go down there and hit that subscribe button if you guys want to join the Squid gang. Most of the people that join my Discord server, which the link for that is down below, end up not leaving. And they say that our community is one of the best, if not the best, Call of the Wild communities on the internet. Our community is so kind, so helpful, and so entertaining, especially at the live streams. So without further ado, guys, wasting no more of your time, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Alright guys, so what I'm doing to get started on the grind is first and foremost, I'm going to all the lakes that have an outpost by them. Now I have a fallow grind set up on this map, so I'm not trying to take down all of my tents, but I need at least 8. So I'm utilizing the placement of outposts, like this one here, then I run to this tripod, so that way I don't have to use a fast travel tent, and I only need to use a claim tent. Some zones I might not be able to use claim tents because I won't have enough tents left over. So obviously I'm not going to get credit on the first 2 kills here, but double lung heart shot there from 329 meters with a 30-06. Probably should grab an ethical gun, I just have my deer loadout on me. This guy is a black-brown, and we actually got a neck shot on that, wow. Yeah, a feral goat great one would be insane. Even the fours have huge horns. I would love this grind, despite the fact that pretty much every 5 we spawn with troll, I'd love the grind. Okay guys, I think I just found a hot spot. Look at this. We have a huge zone here, a huge zone here, a solo there. Oh wait, no, this isn't a solo. There's a huge zone here too. This lake right here is going to be a great lake for the feral goat grind. So as I mentioned, kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm just running around to all the different places that they can drink at. Now they drink from 15 until 18 here in COTW. And COTW is going to be the best map for them because of the fact that COTW is extremely wide open, as you can see. So finding the zones will be a very easy task. Now, I'm not sure what zone I want to use as my main zone here. I think this one. This was one of my favorite locations for a red deer zone. But then again, I mean, there's really good shots over here. We got bigger goats in this zone. I think I'm going to use this zone. Ooh, that's a giant. Okay. I do have the ethical gun on me now. I brought the frost. So we're going to take this one. And maybe we'll try to swing over and get another one. I don't know. I don't want to stack up too much hunting pressure right off the bat. Let's take this guy real quick. Now, I'm not going to use a claim tent at this zone just because the zone is so close. In fact, I red deer grinded this zone for over a year, real life time, and I never used a claim tent here. It's a very quick run. As you can see, barely 100 meters. Alright guys, there's this one here. It's going to be the blonde fur type once again. Beautiful double lung there. These things pay really good as well. We can stat cash fast grinding these things. 208 is their diamond. This is a nice 174 from 125 meters with a 257. Like I said, I'm not placing a claim tent here, so we're going to move on to another lake. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and toss a hotspot map up on screen for you guys right now that'll show you exactly when and where to find the feral goats here in COTW. Now, I think I'm going to need a tripod up here. They might flee when I place this. That is, if I can place this. Let's try that. Tree's kind of right in my way, but should be able to make do with it. Now, I'm going to have to shoot this one with the 300. He's so far away. If you were to want to herd manage your feral goats, don't hit the tree. Nice, we got him. And of course, I think we got a floater. Yep, gives me time to talk, oh well. If you were to want to herd manage your goats, feral goats go diamond at level 5, so you'd want to shoot the 3s and up. If you find a 3 that has the level 2 horns, or just very small horns in general, now I don't know what the score would be, I've never grinded feral goats, bear with me, but you're going to want to leave the small 3s. If you want to be extra safe, you could just shoot every 3 you see, and you can have some extreme herd management, but if I see a small 3 in an exterior zone, I'm leaving it. So if they were to add the great one to the game, obviously I would herd manage them. I don't know how heavy I'd go, but what I would do is I would pick 8 zones. Now I'm already picking my 8 zones right now. I'm picking zones that are wide open, at least halfway easy to shoot. I might move my tripod in the future because of that tree up there, but this zone isn't that bad. And for now I'm leaving the rest of my map alone. But what you want to do is you want to pick 8 zones that you like. These are your main zones. Set up on them with a tent and a tripod. claim tent if you want, that's up to you. And then once you get all your 8 zones set up, if you're gonna herd manage, this is when you can start to run the rest of your map. Places that you're not set up at that they can still drink at. Now it's really not that bad for feral goats, there's barely any drink zones for them here in Te Awaroa, which makes it probably a very easy grind. So legitimately all you're gonna do is every few rotations, meaning every few times that you're shooting from your tents and tripods in your main zones, you're gonna wanna go ahead and run your exteriors, just like you're doing any other grind. Shoot big 3s and above. Like I said, if you want to be safe, shoot every 3 and above. And leave the 2s, 1s, and obviously females. Females play no part in any Great One grind. And that would be how you herd manage your feral goats. Now I'll do a much more detailed herd management guide if they were to add the Great One to the game. And obviously, just like any of my other Great One grinds, I will document the entire process of myself herd managing. Look at this, we already have a tent up here. So that way you guys can get an in-game perspective of someone herd managing their goats. Alright, so this zone here looks like it's going to be a pain. It's right next to my tent. I don't really like it. It's got a bunch of trees and stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot that. Well, I tried to shoot that 4. I think there was 2 4s and a 3 in there. So first and foremost, I'm going to move my tent so that way it doesn't spook that zone when we spawn in. Let's see, is there anything over here? Doesn't look like we spooked anything. So I think I'm going to put my tent about 250 meters that way. You want to place your tent 250 meters from where they're drinking at, because 250 meters is the distance that they'll hear you spawn in at. If you have your tent like 220, 200 meters from the zone, then they're going to hear you spawn in and they're going to spook. So I recommend that you place your tent 250 meters from the drink zone, or if you want to be extra safe, 250 meters from exactly where they're standing at. And then I usually place my tripod around 200 to 164 meters, just so that way I have a relatively easy shot. Mind you, the closer you place your tripod, the less running time you'll have. If your tripod's closer than 150 meters to the zone, ooh, that's a big one, then you're definitely not going to want to run straight into your tripod, as they'll hear you running, and of course, spook. Looks like we just had a big 4 and a female, is that it? Not really sure where this zone is. It's right here, maybe? They must be traveling to their zone. I wonder if they were traveling to that one down there and they're just behind or something. I don't know. I think they were just leaving their rest zone. This is their rest zone from 12 to 15. So they must have just been late. It's 1700. They're on their way out of their rest zone, apparently. Vitals from the frontal there. This one's got some really, really good horns on him. Obviously, level 4 diamond feral goats simply do not exist. Single lung there. Their lungs kind of curl into the front of their body, so it's easy to get lung frontals. Just remember that the heart is a lot higher up than you would think it would be. It seems like it would be right there, but actually the heart is way up here. Interesting little creatures, but like I said, man, these things would make a great, great one. Alright guys, look what I did here. Is that a rare? That might be a rare. I'm gonna shoot it, we're gonna find out. I'm not familiar with their fur types, but that looks different. That could be a rare, I don't know. Look what I did here. This is that zone that I didn't really like. Now I turned it into a really, really, really good shooter zone. Kind of a long shot. A little bit nervous to shoot that potential rare with a 257, but we're gonna try. I placed my tent all the way up there in a flat spot, and I got my tripod here at the water's edge. We're over 250 meters away, so I can just run in. Shoot, I can jump into it. Now, I'm not going to use a claim tent here. I think that's just a common. I don't know. I'm going to have to shoot it and find out. That should have been good. That was a single lung. Long shot for the 257. But man, does it do a good job. I'm going to have to run all the way over there because, like I said, I'm not using a claim tent yet. If they add the Great One to the game, then I'll definitely use a claim tent. But, hey, I'm not going to take down my whole fallow grind for no reason. Alright. Well, he doesn't look like a common. What are the odds this is a mixed? Let's hope and pray. It's a white-brown. That looks so different in the harvest screen, though. You can barely see that dark chunk there, but in the game, it's super, super, super different. Alright, oh well, $1,200. I'll take the money, and that's a successful first kill from this zone. Now, I would say probably the worst part of this grind would be managing the coast. And really, there's barely any places that they drink on the coast. It's just from this point here to this point here. So you just gotta run that. So what I'm gonna do, given the fact they drink all the way down to this little red deer hotspot here, I'm gonna run down there or probably drive a quad down there and place a tent. And if I were to herd manage this grind, what I would do is I'd rotate through my main zones that I'm set up on. It doesn't have to be a diamond, but you want to spawn a couple max level animals minimum. I'd recommend like 4 to 5. So spawn a few 5s, even if they're probably going to troll, which is going to happen with the goats a lot, because they're nasty trolls. And then after I spawn 4 or 5 level 5s, and have those in my main zones, you only want to leave them in your main zones, not your exteriors. You can apply this method to any grind, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and start to run zones that I'm not set up on. Now really, the worst parts and the things that I'd manage the fastest is this coast chunk here, like I said, and then they can drink from this point right here to this point right here on this little river system thing. After that, you just got lakes to manage. The lakes aren't bad. Every once in a while, just go run a lake. If there's a shooter, shoot it. If it's shot down, then you don't got to worry about it anymore. So I'm going to go place a tent down there just in case the feral goat great one comes into existence. Otherwise, who knows? Maybe I'll just herd manage them and try to get a super rare or something. I'd like to try this out. Seems like it'd be a really easy grind. And the reason that you want those max level animals in your main zones is because of the fact that it will force spawn more small animals. Meaning when you shoot a big male, there's a higher chance that it'll come back as a small male, which is exactly what you want for the zones that you're not set up on. You want your exterior zones, the zones that you're not set up on, to be small animals, which will force spawn the big ones into your main zones. There's only one way to do this, and that's to shoot down your exteriors. And as I mentioned, just for a little bit more clarification, having those max level animals in your main zones will force spawn more small animals in general, which yes, may lead to more small spawns in your main zones temporarily, but after you fill all of your exterior zones with small animals, or at least the vast majority of them, you can go ahead and shoot all those diamonds, and the results that you'll see are insane. You'll be getting big fours and lots of diamonds. Alright guys, I got that tent placed down here at that red deer hotspot. I just reset the time, and now I'm going to go ahead and run the coast and see what we can find. Just going to do kind of a recap for this grind here. The first thing that I would do is I would go through and find 8 zones that I want to be my main zones. I've found like 4 or 5 at this point, and I'm probably going to keep looking. But if the Great One Goat actually comes into existence, then I'll definitely become much more serious about it. Set up with tents and tripods. Claim tents if you want, that's up to you. It's nice to have a couple extra tents for doing things like this. You know, having a tent there just so I can fast travel to where they start to drink. Now I can run to all the way where they end drinking, instead of starting from this outpost here, which would cut off almost half of all the area they can drink at. Oh my gosh. Talk about a nightmare. No matter what, I would always suggest that you find all of your drink zones before you start doing anything, or at least the vast majority of them, so you can get consistent respawns. That's kind of something I left out. You don't need to. I mean, I literally spawned 3 Great One Wolves and a super rare with 11 zones out of almost 40. I only had 11 zones. The 11 zones I was set up on were the only zones I was shooting, the only zones I had discovered, and I managed to spawn 3 Great Ones and a super rare. I have all my zones now, and I'm herd managing my wolves, but I just wanted to wait to herd manage my wolves. You know, I didn't want to get a diamond every 10 kills because it burns me out of the grind. And I wanted to prove to people that you don't need to herd manage to get Great Ones, or a super rare, and I definitely think I proved that. But no matter what, I would always suggest that you find all your zones. It's going to help you with your respawns. Now, if you are going to herd manage, do a few rotations through the main zones that you're set up on. Shoot every male you see, try to spawn a few diamonds. Once you got a few diamonds on your map, start running random places that you're not set up at that they can drink at, like I'm doing right now here with the coast. Also, I might go hit this lake here in a minute, might go hit this bottom lake here in a minute. Probably going to put a tent there because it's a hard lake to get to. And shoot any big threes and everything above that you find in your exteriors. In your main zones, once again, every male dies. Unless, for example, you want to leave diamonds, which is entirely your choice. You don't have to. You can still shoot down the rest of your map without stacking diamonds, but I would always suggest it. It definitely helps. So other than that, my friends, just blast away. Let me know down below, would you guys like to see a feral goat Great One here in the Hunter Call of the Wild? I definitely think they could do some very cool things with it, and I would definitely do the grind. The grind seems very easy, even though that I wouldn't be the biggest fan of a feral goat Great One, and I'd much rather have something like a Rocky Mountain elk. I think they could do very cool things with this, and if the grind is as easy as it seems like it's going to be, look at that zone there, holy, then I will definitely spawn a few of them. So without further ado, my friends, if you're new here, once again, feel free to go down there and hit that subscribe button. It is very much appreciated. Hit the like button as well. I am a 16-year-old content creator trying to turn this into my full-time job, and your support is very much appreciated. Join the Discord server, join the Squid Gang, my friends. Like I said, we have arguably the best Call of the Wild community. So inclusive, everyone in the community is so nice, and so entertaining. The streams are hilarious, man. Tune in pretty much every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, my name is Squid, you're watching Squidster Outdoors, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, my gamers.